Today in Matt's class, Phil and I are going to show you tips, tricks, and techniques for drawing awesome creatures. Today in Matt's class, we're going to draw some awesome creatures, and to help us out, we are hanging out with Phil Stone, and I'm so excited to be doing this with you today because Phil has all kinds of expertise working in role-playing games, all kinds of cool gaming material. He's worked for companies like Wizards of the Coast, working on games you may have heard of before, like Dungeons and Dragons. So we're going to do creatures today. Now this could be any kind of creature. This could be something sci-fi. This could be something like an alien creature, or this could be something kind of out of the past, medieval fantasy, or it could be like a creature from a nightmare world, something like Silent Hill and just completely twisted and demented. But it could be something vicious and realistic and terrifying, or this could be like a cute, lovable creature. Kind of anything goes, but I don't want it to just be like a horse. Or an alligator, like not something like, let's do something creative, like something that people have never seen before. So like just like an imaginative, a brand new creature. So I'm excited to see what you put together, and I'm trying to think, I don't even know what I want to do yet for my creature. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
I'm all over the board.
Literally, you're going to be all over the dry erase.
I'm going to try to stay away from tentacles.
Okay, all right. All right.
Because I can go south real quick.
If a company contacts you and says, we want a creature, go wild, like what are you thinking of? Are you thinking of the environment? Or like what
the
are some
first thing that
you
comes to
think
mind
about?
is, and you're absolutely right, is the environment. And it's got to be practical to make it believable. So you don't want to throw, something as large as a behemoth type of mammoth in the middle of a desert.
Okay.
You got to think of food source and just all these wacky little things that come in there, because when you actually look at the image and you look at the environment that it's in, if it doesn't match up, you don't believe it, and it just becomes just this static image that does nothing for you.
So for example, if it is in the desert, having something covered in dripping slime and cobwebs obviously wouldn't really make sense out there.
No, because you got to think of, okay, where did they get those cobwebs in the first place?
Right.
And it's so arid out there, it's like the slime would just dry up and go away.
All right, so I'm already, like my wheels are turning. So let's draw some awesome creatures.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna start with my creature. I've got an idea kind of in my head. I'm gonna have something, maybe something that is traveling through the desert, so it's gonna have some hair to it. I don't know, let's see, I'm imagining the head is kind of like this. Maybe it's got some kind of snout. And then maybe it's got a body like this. And then maybe it's got like hind leg that clawed feet. And maybe this long tail. Something like that. Map out a little bit more, kind of flesh out. Maybe it's got some kind of antlers or something like that. So I'm getting to a point now where I'm almost starting to see detail. So I think I'm gonna switch to my dark marker now and really start fleshing out some of these details.
What I wanted to create was some kind of movement, how this creature would move. If you are traversing, he's gonna be a cave dweller. So obviously there's a lot of jutting rocks and whatnot that you have to traverse over to get around and search for food, if not unwary adventurers. So he's got these displaced shoulder blades that are gonna be popped up a little bit, going into almost like a hooky kind of claw. He still has his somewhat snake-like, wormy, slimy body that he kind of drags behind him. A cool way to work out a creature too is just work organically. If it doesn't look right or it doesn't look functional, just take it away. So one thing about creature design is to make it a little bit more relatable is if you throw in something that is already in nature. And nature does some weird things as it is. So if you use a couple of elements, like obviously you can look at them and be like, oh, those are frog's eyes. It makes it a little bit more believable.
All right, so I've got all of my details in, but right now it's looking cool, but it kind of looks like a coloring book. So now I need to add in some basic shadows to really give this some depth. And then I think this creature is really gonna stand out 3D. So I like the idea of this creature. Maybe it has glowing eyes. Well, the only way to make the eyes look glowing is if it's kind of darker around the eyes. It's got kind of this jaw here. It's got kind of this overbite. This part of the ear under here is kind of going into shadow. There's kind of this underbelly, and it's almost like a snake has a little bit. So I've got each one of these little, I don't know if they're scales, but I'm gonna have just a little bit of, just rolling into a little bit of shadow under each one. A little bit of shadow under this, like this hair. It's got this mane of hair, kind of like a horse. The light source is coming this way, so I know that everything that's gonna be coming out is gonna be hit with that light. All right, so we're putting a little drippy matter in there and bringing that slimy effect.
But one cool thing about slime and texture like that is it actually, you know this is rounded, but when you put the slime on there, you can actually show that roundness of that shape off even more. Little friend of the cave, right? So sometimes you can use your environment to make a certain shape pop better. So just putting those little rocks over there and shadowing them in, it makes this shape stand out a little bit more.
Oh, dude. Now that is the kind of thing that would flip me out. If I walked into a cave and I saw that thing slithering with those eyes, that would just, because it doesn't look that menacing,
Right.
but it's terrifying just the same because like, I don't know, there's something, like it almost looks like it's in trouble and it needs help, but that's almost scarier. Like I don't want to help you, you know what I mean? Its little friend over here who's not afraid of it.
Holy shit.
This is my, I call it a rock snider.
Hell yeah, you
It
do.
almost sounds like a rock slider, but a rock snider. Maybe not in the desert, maybe this thing climbs mountains. It's almost like a goat that you see like goats
Right.
can scale like crazy. Like how did that goat get up there?
I think it's beautiful.
And
Well, the weight of its head too, while it's running, could steer it almost.
oh yeah.
Instead of having two arms to balance it, you got that head.
Mm-hmm. That's the sound it makes. I love it. I love it. It's the sound of terror.
Exactly.
Once you've heard the tick-tock, it's already too late.
You're sucked in and dead.
Phil, that was awesome creature design.
Thank
Very
you, too.
cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So you should give us a like for sure. Plus you should subscribe. You should hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. You should leave me a comment down below just saying hello to both me and Phil. I think that would be nice if you just said, what's up? Cool creatures. And last but not least, you want to share this video on social media. You also should follow both Phil and I on Instagram, amongst everywhere else, Facebook and everything that you can get your little social media hands on. Super appreciated. You guys got to come back for the next video because Phil and I are going to share a bunch of tips on drawing props and weapons and cool things that you can add to your world.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm into it.